The Cubs are currently playing their best baseball of 2018. A 4-game sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers has them a season-high 5 games over .500 at 15-10. The story of the weekend whitewash was pitching. Chicago allowed a total of 2 runs the entire series, including tossing 3 shutouts. The dominance was needed, since the Cubs only scored a grand total of 8 runs of their own. The Colorado Rockies come to Wrigley for 3 games to complete the season series. The Cubs won 2 of 3 from the Rocks at a frigid Coors Field earlier this month. Including an insane back-and-forth contest in the final game, the Northsiders managed to pull out on a play at the plate. Colorado just dropped 2 of 3 to the Marlins in Miami, so they're struggling a bit. The Cubs lineup is back to full strength with the return of Chris Bryant and Ben Zobrist. The weather conditions are set to be warmer with the wind blowing out, so offense will be a bit more plentiful. Both teams also have excellent bullpens, so jumping to early leads will be a big factor. Chicago has a chance to put an uneven start behind them with a lot of home games the next couple weeks. They have started strong. Can they keep it going this week? Watch, listen Monday, 6:05 p.m. Central Time on ESPN, NBC Sports Chicago, 6:70 a.m. Tuesday, 7:05 p.m. Central Time on WGN, 6:70 a.m. Wednesday, 1:20 p.m. Central Time on MLB Network, NBC Sports Chicago, 6:70 a.m. Lineups: Rockies 2. Charlie Blackmon, LCF Cubs bullpen usage via Baseball Press. Opposing pitchers scouting reports from Brooks Baseball. Kyle Freeland has thrown 3,325 pitches that have been tracked by the PitchX system between 2016 and 2018, including pitches thrown in the MLB regular season and spring training. In 2018, he has relied primarily on his cutter, 87 miles per hour, four-seam fastball, 94 miles per hour, and sinker, 92 miles per hour, also mixing in a change, 87 miles per hour, and slider, 81 miles per hour. His cutter generates an extremely high number of swings. His four-seam fastball has less arm side movement than typical, has some natural sinking action, results in somewhat more fly balls compared to other pitchers' four-seamers, and has slightly above average velo. His sinker is a real worm killer that generates an extreme number of ground balls compared to other pitchers' sinkers, generates fewer whiffs, swing compared to other pitchers' sinkers, has less arm side run than typical, has slightly above average velo, and has some natural sinking action. His change is thrown extremely hard, has surprising cut action, generates fewer whiffs, swing compared to other pitchers' changeups, results in more fly balls compared to other pitchers' changeups, and has some natural sink to it. His slider generates fewer whiffs, swing compared to other pitchers' sliders, results in more fly balls compared to other pitchers' sliders, and has some two-plane movement. Sean's note: right-handers hit for significantly more power against Freeland than same-handed lefties. So it's no surprise Joe Maddon has loaded the lineup with right-handers. John Gray has thrown 5,983 pitches that have been tracked by the PitchX system between 2014 and 2018, including pitches thrown in the MLB regular season, the MLB postseason, and spring training. In 2018, he has relied primarily on his four-seam fastball, 96 miles per hour, and slider, 90 miles per hour, also mixing in a curve, 81 miles per hour. His four-seam fastball has some natural sinking action, has well above average velo, and results in somewhat more ground balls compared to other pitchers' four-seamers. Slider is thrown extremely hard, is a real worm killer that generates an extreme number of ground balls compared to other pitchers' sliders, has less than expected depth, and has primarily 12-6 movement. His curve generates a high number of swings. Sean's note: the Cubs jumped all over Gray in Denver, tagging him for 7 runs in 5 innings of work. Jeffy Baez in particular did damage with a homer and a double. Gray did pitch 6 scoreless frames against the Padres his last start. Tyler Anderson has thrown 3,791 pitches that have been tracked by the PitchX system between 2016 and 2018, including pitches thrown in the MLB regular season, the MLB postseason, and spring training. In 2018, he has relied primarily on his four-seam fastball, 92 miles per hour, change, 82 miles per hour, and cutter, 88 miles per hour, also mixing in a sinker, 91 miles per hour. He also rarely throws a curve, 75 miles per hour. His four-seam fastball generates a high number of swings. His change generates an extremely high number of swings. His cutter has extreme cut action, results in somewhat more fly balls compared to other pitchers' cutters, and has slightly above average velo. His sinker generates a high number of swings. His curve, take this with a grain of salt because he's only thrown 15 of them in 2018, generates an extremely high number of swings. Sean's note: Anderson held the Cubs in check at Coors Field, allowing only a 2-run double to Wilson Contreras in 6th. He had to leave his last start in Miami after feeling dizzy and short of breath. Manager Bud Black said it was minor and he was fine to make his next start.